amazing though, right? I mean, you've got a big round slider here behind us. That's probably like, I don't know, 300 kilos of glass sitting there. And the technology the way it's being fabricated it's just fantastic. So it's got a big lever handle, and when it's in a closed position, you turn the handle 180 degrees, and you can see the whole door just being lifted up and the seals being released and what have you. And then with 1-2 fingers, you can move it. Actually, you have to make sure you don't push it too hard.
Everybody slams it.
Yes, you slam it to the other side. I mean, that's just phenomenal. We were at my brother's place for Christmas, and he's got these massive ranch sliders. Now they're from last
century,
millennia. It was before before 2000.
But fairly standard.
Yeah.
New Zealand,
Man,
Kiwi.
you have to put your whole weight behind there to sort of get those things open and closed. So it's just beautiful. It's double the thickness. It's 80 mils of. This is PVC, but it's 80 mils of window. That's just. I don't know.
They're a joy.
If you appreciate technology, you go and look at it and go, no, yeah, this is nice. Yeah.
It does a good job.
It does a very good job.
Stylishly.
So just going back to the starting of the design process for here. So looking at, so I've been familiar with Superhome from when it very first started, right? And when they had open homes for I think 4 weekends in a row, those homeowners would do that. That's pretty. Looking back at it now, I think one weekend was as much as we enjoy it, one weekend was long enough. To do that 4 weekends in a row would have been a pretty tough gig. And I think one of the other things in those days that those houses had to be Homestar rated. So that's my introduction to Homestar. And like I said, I liked it because of its holisticness, and so one of those things is accessibility. So it endeavours to incorporate LifeMark, which is a voluntary design standard for universal design. Now, most people think about that's only necessary if you've got a handicap, right? If you're disabled, but that's not quite true, because if something is really easy to move around in or traverse for people that have a mobility issue, then it's easy for everybody. And so that if you've got kids or you've got buggies and trundlers and things like that, they can traverse that too. So if your doors are a bit wider and you've got no thresholds and PowerPoints are within easy reach and things like that, then that's easy for everybody, right?
And it only takes someone to break their leg or do their Achilles or something like that, and they realise it's like, gosh, we don't have a bathroom or a bedroom. We've got to go up and down stairs, and it's really complicated. So that future-proofing, I think, is a really important part of when we look at houses and where we might live.
Yeah, and especially when you're designing a new house, that initial cost of incorporating that, I think, is almost negligible really in the scheme of things, right? But they make a huge difference. So, we live on the hill here, and we've got fantastic views out there, and it's a pretty steep drive coming up. But the moment you are on our driveway, from that moment on, you've got level access to the top floor. So LifeMark requires you to have an accessible bedroom and bathroom on the main living floor. Now, our main living floor is on the first floor, so therefore that was the one design change we had to make, where we just had a toilet upstairs. We then had to change that to an accessible bathroom, basically, size-wise.
But that makes perfect sense, because there's a bedroom there. There's
a bedroom there.
Yeah.
And so now you can live in this house on the hill, right, with the mobility issue. And
in a wheelchair.
In a wheelchair, basically, yeah. And so from a future-proofing point of view, that's, I think, what's the value on that, right? What's the cost of that?
Even coming out onto the deck is level for a wheelchair.
Yeah, these ranch sliders are fantastic. There's no grooves, there's no channels, no nothing. It's just a little ridge that it slides on. It's just like that. Our hallways, instead of 900, I don't know, 1050 or 1100 or something like that. We've got a big front door, right? Feels really good when you shut it, though, right? It's like Fort Knox that just that shuts. But that's about 1200 wide. But we don't have a lot of hallway here anyway. It's a fairly efficient design. The kitchen is that much wider, so you can spin a wheelchair around in that. And you know what? It's actually really nice when there's two of you in the kitchen. Like most kitchens are about 1200 wide, and you by the time you open a cupboard door or whatever, you sort of,
or the dishwasher,
you sort of dancing around each other. We just don't have that at all. And so it's actually nice to work together in the kitchen as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole house is easy to live in because of those features.
We we Airbnb'd our house out last year and had a family, an American family, staying here for, well, initially it was 3 months, but they loved it so much they extended to 6, which meant we had to live somewhere else for a while. So yeah, you appreciate it much more when you when you come back. But a lot of people say, "Oh, this is such a nice house," and I kind of go, "Well, what makes it nice?" And a lot of people kind of struggle to pinpoint what that is, you know. And so I asked her the question, like, you know, what do you like about it? She goes, you know what? There's nothing in this house that annoys me, which was actually a fantastic answer. But it wasn't like, oh, you've got a marble or whatever, granite. Or
Yes, we love the bathroom window, or we love this.
No, it's the fact that it's a really easy house to live in. Everything is where you expect it to be. It just flows nicely. It's
Yeah, we love it. Yeah, it's great.